I'm gonna read the Wheel of Time. I'm gonna have a really good time. I'm gonna read the whole series. There's gonna be no negativity. New spring through the memory of light. I know that I've read it once or twice. I'm pretty sure that didn't even rhyme, no. But we're still gonna have a good time. Well, hello. My name is Aaron, and I am here to guide you through my reread of the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan, which is 14 books plus a prequel. So I'm going to start at the prequel and go all the way through. And this is a reread, but if you're following and you're reading for the first time, then it's just a read. So the first thing we want to talk about is the world of the Wheel of Time, and then each following video is going to go through one particular book, and I'm just going to summarize it and tell you what's going on in the book and how I feel about it. Okay, you may notice that I'm wearing a wig. I'm not a drag queen, but when I get drunk, I like to order shoes and wigs online. And I'm not sure why I do that, so if you have a psychology degree, have fun with that. All right, first thing we're going to talk about is the One Power. The One Power comes from the true source, which moves the Wheel of Time, which is the name of the book series. So that's what that's all about. And the One Power is accessible to a small percentage of people in the world. They can channel the One Power. So they are called channelers. And then they have different titles and stuff too in the different world societies that are there. The most common or well-known one is called Aes Sedai. And they are a group of people who channel the One Power for the good of the world and stuff. The One Power is broken up into 5 different powers. You have Earth, air, sometimes called wind, water, fire, and spirit. And when you combine these powers, Captain Planet, I'm just joking, he's not in this book. All right, but each of those things can be used to do different things. So if I want to set this house on fire, I would channel fire and set the house on fire. Or you can just warm your tea with fire, which is probably better than burning a house down. If you want to make water come up out of a bowl and look like a unicorn, then you can channel water and do that as well. You can also combine the 5 powers in different ways to do things too. So if you run into a wall and you get a boo-boo on your face, you can come on over to my house and I will put air and water and spirit and put them together, weave them together, if you will, and then channel it on you, and then you'll be healed. Isn't that cool? And you can do all kinds of other combinations to do things like that. So that's how they use the One Power. All right, so we start off kind of knowing that the Wheel of Time is broken up into 7 spokes of the wheel, and each spoke is an age. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so one of the ages is called the Age of Legends, and people in this age, not in my living room, but when you open the book, you're in this age, the 3rd age. People call that age the Age of Legends because it basically is so cool and so much better than the age that is right now that it's legendary. So in the Age of Legends, you had like super advanced science, you had like no poverty, you had peace, the weather was put together with Aes Sedai using the One Power and different objects that they kind of infused the power in, and it made sure there were no tornadoes or hurricanes or anything like that. So it was really nice and very cool, and everything was going wonderfully. But people got bored, and so they were kind of like, okay, we need to find a way, because I guess at that point they were kind of like, we've kind of done everything that you can do with the One Power. You know, somebody was like, oh, we created this really cool thing with the One Power. And they're like, okay, cool. And the women who used Saidar, the female half of the power, and the men who used Saidin, the male half of the power, they could do things individually, and then they could do things together and make cool things happen as well. But basically everybody kind of was like, well, we've really done everything. We've made ladders, we've made ice ponds to go skating on, we've, you know, just really gone to different worlds and created portals and all sorts of neat things, and we're bored. And so there were a couple of them that decided they would find a way to do something with this power that both women and men could access together. And they're like, ooh, we've been playing around with, dimensions and universes and shit, and we've decided that this little point right here, there's something behind the curtain. And so this lady, Mieren, and her friend Bidomon, they were like, let's bore into this curtain and see what this thing is. So they're like, one power. And they opened it up, and oh my god, it was the Dark One. Wouldn't you know? He was like, boo. And they're like, oh no. And the backlash came out, and it was this thing called the True Power. And that was, I don't know if it was really the true power, but it was the Dark One's power, and they just called it the True Power sometime. And so that came out and blew everything up, and it made everything crazy. And then people were like, oh, I'm suddenly thinking about war and chaos, and I want to poke you in the eye a lot, which they didn't do in the Age of Legends. And so the whole world went nuts. And there was war, and people were going over to the Shadow, and even the Aes Sedai that were supposed to be like super awesome, they were like, I think I'm just going to go to the Shadow. And some Aes Sedai and some other people who were kind of like maybe under the surface, they were like a little bit evil, that got amplified, and they were like, now they're really evil. And so they went to the Shadow too. So there's war going on. War. That's what war sounds like. And so anyway, at some point, the light, that's the good people, and the shadow, that's the bad people, they were just getting crazier and crazier, and at some point they were like, we really got to stop this. So this guy, Luz Theron Telamon, in the Age of Legends, if you were super cool, you got 3 names. Luz Theron Telamon was like, we're going to go up to where this boar is, right? And we're going to seal it up. And then the women were like, I don't think that's a good idea. But we've made these cute statues, and if we use them together, then maybe we can do that thing that you were saying. And so they argued a bit, and then basically the little cute statues got lost. And so the women were like, I still don't like your plan, so we're not going to do that. That was this lady, Latra Pose Desume. That was her name. She said, Pose Desume. And so anyway, she was like, all the women, don't you dare. And so the women were like, we won't dare. And so the men under Luz Theron Telamon were like, we've got to go. So they went to the boar, and the 13 most powerful channelers from the Shadow were there having like tea or something. And then they basically were like, oh shit, Luz Theron is here. Hey, Luz Theron. And he was like, channel the one power. And they sealed them all up. But right as they were locking the key, the Dark One was like, boop. And he hit Saidin, the male half of the true one power. And he like corrupted it. Tainted it, if you will. And all the men went immediately insane. These are very powerful channelers. So they ran out of the island cave thing that they were in, and everybody was sealed up, all the bad guys. So kind of that part got done, but it's great. And then they ran out, and they were like, oh my god, I'm crazy. And so they just obliterated the world. Absolutely obliterated the world. So skip ahead. Finally, they all died and stuff. And the Luz Theron Telamon was then called the Dragon. He was called many things, I'm sure. Like Kinslayer, because he killed all of his people, all of his family, his kin. He was called the Dragon. I bet some people just called him an asshole, but whatever the word was for that. And so anyway, not ages, but years and years go by. Channelers live a really long time. So things happened in the world, everything kind of settled down. A lot of the cities that existed didn't exist anymore because the male channelers were like, I don't like this city. I never liked shopping there. And so then the world kind of regrouped, I guess, and everyone learned along the way that if a male person touches the one power, they will go insane eventually. And so all the Aes Sedai ended up just being women. And they lived in this place called the White Tower, and all these other cities kind of came up around them. All right, so very quickly, we'll go through a couple of the names of those cities. There's Andor. That's where Caemlyn is. It's a very beautiful city, especially in the spring. Oh my. There's lots to do in Caemlyn. There's some shopping. There's probably a park or two that you could go to. There's definitely like a water park or something like that. Anyway, Caemlyn is the place to be. And then there's a place called Cairhien, or Cairhien, but I think it's Cairhien. And that's also a really cool place. It's a little bit political, but it's got these really nice, like, spirally up type buildings and things, and everybody goes, "Ooh, they're so pretty," and it's really nice. And then there's other places like the Two Rivers. There's a little village right where these two rivers meet. There's a little place called Emmons Field. It's very cute. Nice little destination country spot if you're looking for a place to go. Where else? There's a place called Tyr. There's a place called Ebu Dar. Ooh. There's another place that people go called Ilion. There's just all kinds of neat places to go. And so that's some of the continents and countries and stuff. Off across the ocean, there's a place called Shanchan, and that has a completely different history than the Westlands, which is the places that I just described. So, last but not least, we talk about the Dragon Reborn. When the dragon died, the dragon was who? That's right, Lews Therin Telamon. And he goes bananas, and then he basically was like, "Oh, I cannot believe I killed everything, just everything." So he channeled the one power, too much of the one power, really. And he was like, "Blah, blah," and he turned into a mountain. And so he really did. He just brought the earth up, and then he became this place called Dragon Mount. And Dragon Mount, if you go down Dragon Mount a little bit to the east, you'll run into the island of Tar-Valon, or Tar-Valon. I think it's Tar-Valon, but it might be Tar-Valon. And that's where the Aes Sedai live, so they're very close proximity. There's lots of prophecies and things, and basically they say that at some point, the dragon will be reborn, and he will come to fight the Dark One during the last battle. And who knows what's going to happen, really. He's either going to save us, or he's just going to go have a sandwich and let everything burn, so we don't know. And that's kind of the basis of the entire series. We're trying to figure out, who is the Dragon Reborn? And what's he going to do? And is he going to go crazy before he saves us? Or is he going to save us at all? Or is he just going to eat a sandwich? And the Aes Sedai are trying to find him, and along the way there's many adventures, and we will get through them as I reread The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. I hope you've enjoyed this video and understand a little bit of the world of Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time. I encourage you to continue with these videos as I go through each of the books, and we're going to have a great experience together. Thank you all very much. Bye-bye.